Hi, and welcome back to the Jazz Piano course. This is the fourth installment in which we're going to talk about minor scales. We're not going to go into depth. We're going to just take those parts that are important to us for the continuation, for the next few lessons. We're going to go into more depth in following lessons. Let me start with a recap from the previous three lessons. And this is going to take us kind of naturally into the minor discussion. We've seen that in a major scale, and I just played the C major scale, we have three important degrees, which were the tonic, subdominant, dominant, and well, then back again to the tonic. And we've remarked that we can use tensions on these the chords that are built on each of these degrees. And we've also remarked that we can do chord substitutions because some of the other degrees have the same harmonic role or share the same harmonic role. For example, a substitute for the subdominant, the 4, is the supertonic, the 2 minor, because both of them lead into the dominant. So we could have either subdominant, dominant, tonic, or supertonic, dominant, tonic. Now let's re-examine these concepts, but using a minor scale. The first thing that sort of is already a big difference when comparing minor and major scales is that there's only one major scale, but there are actually many minor scales. For example, again, we're going to stay on C, but we have the C natural minor. Then we have the C melodic minor. We have the C harmonic minor. And there are actually other minors as well, which derive from modes or sort of altered minor scales. And we're not going to go into them in this video. Now, to illustrate why, let's start with the fact that all different minor scales have for their tonic a minor chord. And all of these scales, the chord I build on the 1 is going to be a C minor, of course talking about C. So the 1 is going to be a minor chord. But then all of the other degrees differ, and sometimes they don't really make a lot of sense from a diatonic point of view. Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to play the C natural minor. And let's build all of the triads on this scale. So we have C minor, D diminished, E flat major, F minor, G minor, A flat major, B flat major, and C minor. And in terms of degrees, we have 1 minor, 2 diminished, 3 major, 4 minor, 5 minor, 6 major, 7 major, and 1 minor. Now the first problem that you encounter from a diatonic point of view is that the 5 is not a major, it's a minor. Now, when you think about the 5-1 progression, it makes a lot more sense, it's a lot stronger if the 5 were a major. Let me play and show you exactly what this means. If I play a G minor going to a C minor, well, that's weaker, actually a lot weaker than a G major going to a C minor. Let me play them both. Now, of course, I'm not saying that you can't have a 5 minor going to a 1 minor, but this 5 is no longer called a dominant. well, in the C natural minor scale. So it's a 5 minor, but it's not a 5, it doesn't have a dominant function. It doesn't lead naturally into the tonic. Now, the natural minor scale really isn't used that much in jazz, at least not to build chords. Let's look at what the melodic minor has. So if you build triads on the melodic minor, and again I've played the C melodic minor here, we have so C minor, D minor, E flat augmented, F major, G major, A diminished, B diminished, C minor. Now this is better because here the 5 is actually a dominant. It's a dominant, it's a major chord, and it plays a dominant function. It leads strongly into the tonic. But usually in jazz, when people talk about the minor scale, they almost always implicitly assume you're talking about the harmonic minor, at least from a chord building perspective. Let's build the chords on this harmonic minor scale. So I'm going to play them first, and then we're going to do it a bit slower. So what do we have? A 1 minor, C minor, a 2 diminished, D diminished in the key of C, a 3 augmented, an E flat augmented, a 4 minor, an F minor in the key of C, a 5 major, which is a G major in the key of C, a 6 major, an A flat major, and a 7 diminished, which is a B diminished in the key of C, and then back to the root, which is a 1 minor, a C minor. So, for example, if I were to play a 4-5-1 in the harmonic minor scale in the key of C, it would sound like this. An F minor going to a G major going to a 1 or C minor, a 1 minor. So that's basically all I want to talk about at this point. And the two, I guess, takeaway messages from this brief video lesson is that, first of all, when people think about the minor scale in the context of chord qualities and diatonic harmony, they usually, unless they explicitly say otherwise, they usually think about the harmonic minor. And the reason for this is the second thing you should take away, is that when some of the minor scales or the functions of the different degrees change in minor scales. For example, we saw that in the natural minor scale, the 5 was a minor chord, and therefore it was not a dominant chord, so it didn't have the dominant function. I hope that's not too confusing for you. If it is, don't worry too much about it. You can just put it aside and focus on the harmonic minor. We're going to be using it in the upcoming lesson. Don't worry too much. Also, you don't really have to memorize all of the harmonic minors at this point and all of the chords built on them. I'm basically going to show you how to extract only those important things you need from this from the scale in the next lesson, where we're going to talk about secondary dominance. That's it. I hope you've learned something interesting, and I'll see you next time.